You are about to witness history in the making.
What's up, everyone? It's Haydn here from the Pop Culture Gamers, and we're on show number 13, so it's unlucky for some. Today's 17th of June, and I'm joined, as always, with Steve. Hi, Steve. How's it going?
Yes, happy Father's Day, by the way.
Yes, happy Father's Day to you as well.
We've got 2 T-shirts each, and a T-shirt each, we say, but that's not to be spoken about now. That'll be for later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week, because we're having a bit of more of an unusual show this week, because, as you know, there has been some little computer fair sort of thing that's been going on in America called E3. And we did an E3 show at the beginning of the week, and we're doing one at the end of the week as a bit of a roundup of it. We'll talk about the Sony show and what they did there, and we'll decide who we thought won E3. So, with that being said, shall we go straight into the Sony Expo, Steve?
Yes, why not?
Okay. So, we started off with Sean Layden doing the intro, didn't we, on this one?
Yeah.
And I've got to admit, you know, I'm not going to be fanboyish about this now, but I've got to be honest. I found the way that he came across and what he said to be quite offensive, because he was likening playing PlayStation games to a religion. Now, I know that we get passionate and, you know, about games and stuff like that, but to me, there's a kind of line to draw.
See, that and I didn't realise. Do you know what? And maybe because it was when I came home and I was tired anyway, but I sat and watched it. But it sort of brushed over me a little bit, that, to be honest.
Do you know what? The first step, because he was saying about, you know, here we are in this church of Sony.
Yeah.
You know, church of PlayStation, whatever it was. He said it was something along those lines.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then he said something like, you're here to worship or whatever. And I just kind of thought, do you know what? This is starting off bad for me.
Did he do, I mean, I don't know about what it's like in America. I mean, I'm sure was it because it was on a Sunday? It wasn't on a Sunday, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was in the middle of the week.
So I thought that might have been tongue in cheek. If it was, because it was obviously 2:30. It was Monday for us. I'm not sure if it was still Sunday for them, though. I'm not quite sure.
No. I think it was Tuesday for us and Monday for them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, you know, to me, it really started off badly. It did that. Just, not because I'm not massively religious, but for me, you know, it's kind of like a bit about respect, and I wouldn't take the mick out of somebody else's religion, and I just feel like equating playing video games to the deep felt, you know, things that people believe in various different forms, whether or not, you know, you're a Christian, you're a Buddhist, or whatever it is that you are.
Yeah, yeah.
I just felt it was a little bit disrespectful and a little bit arrogant, to be honest.
Well, I think he was a bit cocksure of himself. Now, I don't know if Sony are going to start feeling like, well, we don't have to do too much because we've got so much going on and we're so in front here with everything else, blah blah blah. It's like they're sort of thinking they've done enough again for this E3, before they even walk on stage and actually make an effort.
Yeah,
and they haven't really made that much of an effort, because how they try to get this out to everyone is just dreadful, you know.
Well, I mean, you know, let's be fair to Sony. They tried something different.
Yeah, and it failed abysmally, though, to be honest.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, it did bomb.
Because let's not think we're slagging them off. The games they have to show were pretty cool. But
yes, yeah.
The amount of games and the way they did it is just diabolical.
Well, I mean, to be honest, the whole tambourine guy for so long. I mean, you know, there was a bit of deathly silence in between that, wasn't there? Yeah, and then there was also the guy playing the Chinese didgeridoo. And it was just sort of like, really?
Have we turned into the X Factor for E3?
I don't know. I really don't know. But it was just sort of like, what are the... I mean, hands off to them. They tried something different, okay? To be fair, they probably thought it was going to be really cool. They thought they were giving people more of a, an entertainment sort of thing. But when you go to these things, what do you want to see when you're going to, to a gaming convention? We're not
here to see Cirque du Soleil, are we, or anything like that? We're there to see games and hear them talk about games,
Yeah, and to me, for start off, they started off, didn't they, with The Last of Us Part 2, which looks absolutely fantastic. Some of those graphics look photorealistic. They were absolutely brilliant. And, that cut, where it went from, that dancing and, kissing stuff to her cutting that guy's neck and stuff like that. All of that, it's like really quite impactful. But even though I wanted to see games, that lasted for 15 minutes. And it was sort of like, really? 15 minutes on one game in an hour's presentation?
11 minutes, 47 seconds, just to be precise.
Well,
but there you go.
Okay, just to be precise.
What I'm doing is, while we talk about them, I've got the videos on at the same time, just to refresh my brain, because it's been a few days. So.
Yeah, but it just felt really, really long.
Yeah, and I know, like myself, and I'm not sure, did you complete the last one?
No.
Naughty.
Do you know what? I've got to be honest. I know that everybody raves about it and thinks it's fantastic, but I just find it really quite hard. I feel a bit pulling teeth. I'm not really that into games that have strong stealth mechanics, and that game, to get past those creatures, you had to.
It was the story side of things that really pulled it for me. Like all the other games, the stories that they get involved in with this, and obviously how this is going to progress, and with the shock. Whether I don't think it's really a shock, because the girls.
Please don't spoil the story, because I do intend to finish it at some point.
No, I'm only talking about the trailer where they were kissing at that party.
Or
whatever the wedding, whatever it was, whether or not that is sort of a shock moment to have. Whether it's needed or not, I don't know. But that's just a chat for another day.
Yeah.
But it looks awesome, and surely this should be coming out soon. Why didn't they let you know? It's again they seem to want to hang their game. They want to drag their games out. And they do it too early, and they drag it out for so long that we get bored of them, and then we're not interested.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest. And I mean this about this whole E3 for most of the games. It was this is what's coming in 2019 expose.
But it's
not this is what's coming tomorrow.
But do you know
there was some, but...
Yeah. But do you know what, right? Think about what we have got coming out between sort of September and Christmas. It's enough. To be honest, do you really want every game they show to be out this year? Because you won't play them all. You won't buy them all.
And to be honest, well, actually, I probably will. But
you know what I mean? I mean, God forsake, February is going to be tough enough as it is, but I'm sure some of those will be pushed back a bit or forward just to think about who's got what. Now they all know. But we got Destiny kicks off September.
Yeah.
You got and Spider-Man as well.
And we'll talk about Spider-Man shortly because they ended.
But do you know what I mean? And then obviously we've got the Call of Duties, we've got Red Dead, we've got Fallout. We've got so much to play between now and Christmas. And then, what you talk about later that comes out in January, that comes out then February. It's probably well presented. That is probably well structured anyway for all those games in that 6 month period, or actually over 6 months from September onwards.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and to be honest, I've got so many games from a backlog from last year that I went and bought all of the games and still not completed a lot of them as well. So I do want to start getting through some of these things that are sat there.
Well, you've got this period now, haven't you, between now and September?
Yeah, when you get into that sort of routine though, where you put a game to one side and think, I'll come back to it because of X.
Yeah, I've got to put Destiny in because I want to do this week's. I've got to see Zer, I've got to do this, I've got to do that.
Yeah, well, Zer's not really got that much interest in, but...
but no, I'm about your routine, because there's stuff you want to check out to buy maybe, or to get what you need. And
absolutely. But at the moment, I'm sort of like, I've got so many games that I want to complete. I'm kind of like wallowing in, well, which game am I in the mood for? Do you know when you get that sort of, you're in that position? And I'm finding it difficult to get motivated on any game at the moment. I think it's probably because, I came off Far Cry and went on to God of War, and it's just, I've not found anything that's really plugged those holes yet.
Well, I mean, I've had a bit of a chaotic couple of weeks, and it's going to continue for the next 2 or 3. So my gaming habits have changed slightly because I've been sort of falling asleep at night, as you're probably well aware of. But this is, I say, we've got lots to look forward to.
Absolutely. There's loads of.
So should we move on to what came next?
Well, next is where they did the odd thing. After the banjo player, we then went on to them moving everybody from one hall to another. So we cut across to a outside news commentary sort of, news desk kind of filming, didn't we? Where there was some discussion. Now, there was some good stuff that came out of this, which was, they were talking about New Game Plus on The Last of Us.
Yeah.
So, that was good. And, of course, the big surprise giveaway that Sony did for anybody who's a PSN Plus subscriber. You got Black Ops 3.
Yeah, which I started playing this afternoon, funnily enough.
Yeah, well, I downloaded it as well. So thank you very much, Sony. That was a very nice gesture.
But obviously, it's only if you got PlayStation Plus, isn't it, again? So
yes, it is. So if you haven't got PlayStation Plus, just go get it so you can get Black Ops. Although, to be fair, it's not the best one out of all of the Black Ops or the Call of Duty games. But it's still okay. They also talked about the 5-day reveals that they did, didn't they? So there was Tetris Effect, which is VR enabled, and I am so underwhelmed by the thought of that. Days Gone. Now, why they didn't do more with Days Gone in this, I don't know, because to me this is like their leading thing, or one of their leading things, or it should be.
Yeah.
There was Twin Mirror, which the comment that I've noted down here is want to see more of that, because that looked really good. And then Ghost Giant, which to me looked like a bit of a kid's game.
Yeah, probably.
Was
yeah.
that cutie sort of one?
Yeah, I'll probably agree with you on that.
And the one I'm really looking forward to, because this is a VR one, and I've got the controllers to go with it as well. The Move controllers. Beat Saber.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing some video footage of that a little while ago.
Yeah. So I'm really quite looking forward to that one as a VR game. My God, I'm actually saying I'm looking forward to a VR game. So how times have changed. Anyway, so that was the end of the commentary. Well, they did a bit more commentary, but I know that they had to manoeuvre 2,000 people from one place to another, but that went on for too long, to be fair. Whoever's bright spark idea it was to shift people from one room to another in the middle of the presentation, what it kind of felt like to me was, actually, we haven't got that many games here. So if we try and do something with a bit of padding, with a bit of banjo music and a bit of, didgeridoo playing at the same time, after it, and a bit of commentary, that'll disguise it a little bit.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm glad I didn't. If I had the opportunity to stay up to watch this,
I'd have been slashing my wrists by then.
you'd been better off. All right, we'll talk about my little experience to do with that live or a little bit later, but I would be devastated that I've actually stayed up late to watch something that was so hideous in a way that it was done.
Well, to be fair, the whole thing wasn't hideous. It was just that opening bit. So that lasted about 25 minutes, half an hour. It was about half of the conference, or just under half. And then we went into the trailer for Destiny 2, Forsaken.
Shock horror.
Oh, yeah. No, not kid.
Should we say, or should we just... Some people might have not seen that still.
Yeah, let's just put fans of Nathan Fallon or his voice, be prepared.
Yeah, because when they said to Bungie about it, and we went, no, that's true, it is. Now, whether or not he can come back in the story, I don't know, but as it stands... Well,
let's face it, Guardians get killed all the time and resurrected by the Ghost.
Yeah.
The only problem was his Ghost got shot as well.
I know. But it might be like a revenge story. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But looking forward to that.
Well, I think it's, by the look of it, the revenge is the... I think that the story will be the Queen's brother trying to go back in time using Vex technology to rescue the Queen.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
That's kind of, with the things that I've seen, I've just sort of, this feels like this might be the story here. But we'll see. We haven't got long to go, only a couple of months.
Can't wait. So,
and then finally we start, this is where the Sony conference should have started, to be fair. I think if they'd have just kept everybody in one room and then just gone from, the Last of Us Part 2 to the Forsaken clips to this, it would have been a much better show, although a bit shorter. But this is where we then saw footage of goats of Tsushima.
Not goats, but ghosts.
Yeah, ghosts. I did say
It
ghosts.
sounded like goats, sorry. Excuse me.
And wow, this looks gorgeous as a game. I can't wait to play this, to be quite honest. I'm really looking forward to it.
Being this has got a bit of history involved in this. Because it starts, say the trailer starts on like the ninth day of the Mongolian invasion of Tsushima. And this is all that actually what happened. And, it should be pretty cool, I must admit.
Yeah, I think it'll be really, good. So, because it's an action venture, sort of titled on a third-person perspective, isn't it?
Yeah.
As a title. And it's set in 1274.
Yeah. I mean,
during the first Mongolian invasion of Japan.
That's right, yeah. So the trailer starts on day 9. Yeah. And it looks very bleak from what's going on with the war.
Yes.
But I can't remember the last game really played a proper game like this that's with a samurai sword, because it's something that we, not really got from the days of Tenchu maybe, but, we haven't really had a lot of samurai games.
No, it is a genre that is lacking, I think.
But then we wouldn't want it saturated, so I'm lucky enough that we've got maybe a couple of games, that are coming like this. But I'm glad about that.
Yeah. So that looks like it's going to be a really good game to actually play when it comes out. No doubt it will have been PS4 Pro footage that they'll have been showing.
Yes, it would have been, yeah.
Yeah. And then they showed a trailer for another game called Control from Remedy Studios.
Yeah, but it's funny. It was
published by 505 Games.
Did they actually mention Remedy in that? Because they mentioned 505, but they didn't mention Remedy at the time, I don't think.
No, but my thought was, when I was watching this, I thought, this is a PlayStation version of Quantum Break.
Yeah, but obviously Remedy are going, so this will be available in all formats this time for a change. They're not in bed with Microsoft as such. But I like the look of this game. I'm a Remedy fan. I know Quantum Break was a little bit of a damp squib, but it still was good. It still wasn't a bad game.
To be honest, I don't think it was. I really enjoyed Quantum Break. I know that some people we know didn't and found the controls to be difficult, but I had no problem with the control. I think it played really well. The problem with that game was the end boss. That was the problem with that game, nothing else. Like I said, I really enjoyed playing it. So, and this game, to be honest, the effects look very, very similar. Almost like it's, just like
it's. I mean, if you think about it, if you think in your head what Alan Wake was like,
yeah.
And then you think about Quantum Break, and then this. They're all very similar.
Yeah, I suppose it's their house style, isn't it, really? But I'm looking forward to Control. I think that'll be one I'll definitely be looking at picking up. Whether or not that's actually on PlayStation or if it's on Xbox One, because it's not limited to PlayStation. It's not an exclusive.
I mean, there's a few games that'll be on both. That you might want to choose, I suppose, the better console for it, maybe, that will give more power,
Well, the best console for you. That would be the,
Oh, no, I'm
not doing any favouritism there.
No.
But
what I'm saying is, though, but people who've got both might well just go for the Xbox rather than the PlayStation 4 because they will probably realise that you'll get a bit more oomph out of the one machine compared to another. Just the way it is, because that is it, isn't it?
Assuming they've got an X.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They might just have an Xbox One.
No, did you hear what I just said? I just said if they've got both, they may well tip the scale to Xbox rather than PlayStation. If you've got a PlayStation, you've only got a PlayStation. Of course, you're going to go that route. But what I'm saying is, if you do have both, you might tip towards the X rather than the PlayStation. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I know what you mean. So, and then the big reveal.
Well, can I butt in here with this one?
Yes,
because Yoda woke me up at 3:30 in the morning, and he wanted to go out to the garden. And I looked at it and thought, oh, an hour's gone. Oh, let me have a quick look. And I wasn't looking for the PlayStation conference, funnily enough. I was looking to see whether this game was actually coming out, because I've been waiting for this since they talked about that they were going to do it, and that it's not a HD remaster. Let's put it out there. It's built up from the ground up with a brand new engine and everything else. And Resident Evil 2, my God. I was watching it in the dark in the garden. And that creeped me out. I tell you, I'm sitting there while Yoda was doing what he needed to do. And I just can't wait for this game. I don't know if you're a bit of a Resi fan, though, are you?
I keep... Sometimes and sometimes I'm not. I think, to be honest, Resi 5 kind of really killed it for me a little bit, because it took me about 3 or 4 years to actually finish that last boss, because I think I must have had a bug in the game, and I went back a few times, and despite the fact of having rocket launchers hit that dude's heart or whatever, nothing killed him at all. And then I went and I switched it on to be online, went on with someone else and killed him straight off. So, in the end...
That's a shame, because, I mean, I loved that. At 5, I caned that. This is what I would... If there's any game that I want to play to the end straight off the back, will be like I did this time, say, January, February last year when Resident Evil 7 came out.
Yeah.
I did that, and it would be definitely the same for this one.
Yeah, well, I loved Resident Evil 2. I think the thing is, though, in terms of the Resident Evil games, I'm not that good at them. I know that... Or I never used to be, I should say.
Well, they were tough. I think Resident Evil 2 was a bit tough in those days.
Yeah, but I mean, I know that some people could do like speed run in, sort of like less than an hour, can't they? But
if you do the right puzzle to get to the right point, if you're with me, and then run through there to get, beat the crocodile, do this, do that, beat the spiders, get round here, X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
But that was the first Resident Evil game I played back in the day, before I played actually Resident Evil, funnily enough.
Yeah.
And what it did for me was it creeped me right out. At the same time, having that storyline where you had the two branches to play to finish the game off, then to give you the proper ending on the train at the very end.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And I just really... Is this one game out of the whole of E3 I can't wait for, is this one.
I knew that you'd be... Well, that and Fallout 76.
Oh, yeah, but do you know what? This I've been known about for so long, and every other year it's been teased and nothing happens. The same way, the way Final Fantasy's gone, that's been a bit of a damp squib. But at least with this now, it's out there.
All right, here's a question for you. Test to see which one you are the most fanboyish for. Let's say that they were both released tomorrow, and your missus said you can have one now, and then the other one
I'll buy.
It's a hypothetical situation. You can have either Resident Evil 2 now or Fallout 76 now, and the other one you have to wait till Christmas and we'll give you it as your Christmas present. Which one would you go for?
Probably Fallout, because where Resident Evil 2 is going to be, you're going to play from A to B and complete it.
Yeah.
Fallout 76 is going to be going further than that. So, but that's neither here nor there. I'm so stoked for this. You know, you don't realise. I can't show my enthusiasm enough here to just say what I really want from this. And it went after, obviously, with the rats and all that, and then I knew straight away. Well, see, I obviously knew straight away because I just searched for the YouTube video and picked it up. But when I saw the police station there as well, and he walked in, I thought, oh, God, look at that. I
mean, the graphics do look absolutely fantastic, don't they?
Oh, they do. And I mean, I have been playing Resident Evil 2 on my PS Vita. Because it's my American account, funnily enough, because it's not available anywhere else. But yeah, no, honestly, that is just fantastic, and that's pleased a lot of people. And it's probably even creepier than the original, I would have thought.
And it's exclusive to PlayStation as well, isn't it?
No, it's on Xbox as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was exclusive, this one.
No. Capcom is going to be an either or. So choose your
machine,
console of choice. You see, that's the thing. I think should I have it on PlayStation just to get that take me back to how I use a PlayStation controller with the original, or should I go
and actually it's on PC as well because the release date's 25th of January.
Yeah, can't wait. Anyway.
Yes. Anyway, so we've digressed a little bit. But nevertheless, that still looks really good. Then the next one seemed to be a bit of an oddball one. Trevor Save the Universe.
I don't know. I haven't got a Scoobies about that one.
No.
What's your thoughts on it? Because I haven't got any thoughts on that.
Well, to be honest, my comment was looks a bit rubbish.
Exactly.
To be honest, and I was sort of like I was watching it and I was thinking, why have we? Why have they gone with this? Because it didn't look. It didn't. From what I can remember, I think it looked more like an indie game.
Yeah.
I can't remember much more about this one, to be honest. I just remember looking at it and thinking, this looks rubbish.
Yeah.
So we'll move on.
So should we go to the bizarre and wonderful, or maybe not so wonderful?
Well, no, it was Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, they gave a bit more footage after.
Yeah, I mean, we did talk about that during the Xbox one, didn't we? But
yeah, because that's coming to Xbox as well for the first time.
But
and then, Death Stranding.
Is it death by strangulation? Because we.
Well, I mean, we had Hideo Kojima come on, didn't we? Now, what I'm going to say about this, personally, I think in terms of environments, my God, those environments look absolutely beautiful. Very varied as well. They went from all sorts of different climates. Generally, in terms of visuals, very, very impressive. However, watching the trailer of what they showed, I did start to think, is this a walking simulator?
I think... Sorry about that.
Are you trying to get into a DeLorean to go back to the future to be able to play Fallout or something?
I think what they were trying to show was the environment. The idea of just showing those parts of it was... Obviously, there's a lot of travelling involved in the game. But I think they were just trying to show the environments to give you a bit of an idea.
Yeah.
But then it's a very bizarre game. We don't know much about it. I mean, when he was doing that walk-in with his backpack.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'll turn this down. At one point, it was like he's got a body on the back of him, a complete body. And it won't do as it's told. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? We saw them walk in, in all sorts of places. Do you know what? This phone I'm going to throw it in the bin in a minute.
Should have an iPhone, mate. You don't get those problems on an iPhone.
No, it's that stupid Bixby, and I'm going to turn my head in.
But
Here we go.
I mean, we were talking about this before we started recording the show. And, my official announcement about Death Stranding is I'm out. I am not jumping on this Hideo Kojima bandwagon of, oh my God, he's the best game developer in the world ever. He's done 2, maybe 3 fantastic games, Metal Gear Solid 1, 2 and 3. And then after that, to me, the franchise just really went downhill to mediocrity. And I just kind of feel that at the moment, what we're seeing is so abstract. And to me, this was a time to actually start putting a little bit of description in terms of what that game actually does. And I don't think that they met it. So as far as I'm concerned, until they actually can start giving some really firm details about what this game is, then I'm just out of it, because looking at it, it's either a walking simulator or it's a simulator of Metal Gear Solid with the guy off with The Walking Dead on, with carrying a baby in what looks like amber around his chest.
But do you think actually we're seeing a bit of a time, because we don't know what it's about, whether it could be to do with time travel, because at one point the baby, was that tongue-in-cheek for Hideo Kojima for the baby to show his ass to the screen when you first see it? And then later on we see a whole body sort of strapped to it. So is this to do with time travel maybe? Or who knows? We don't know what's inside his head for this. But you've got to say one thing. And seeing a certain lady looking as young as she did back in the 70s in this game. And when I watched the interview with Jeff Keighley and Lindsay Wagner and Hideo Kojima, I just put a smile to my face just to see her. So for those that don't know, that she played the Bionic Woman in the mid 70s. Yeah, and that's where her claim to fame is. But this could be a great story. We don't know enough, and this again is Sony's idea of stringing you along for 3 years with trailers when you'd rather say give you it an E3 and say it's out March next year or whenever that would be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's why I said I'm out for the time being, because until they're actually going to start putting meat on the bones, I don't want to be asking more questions about the same game. I want some of my questions to be answered. About what sort of game is it? Is it an RPG? Is it a action adventure more like Tomb Raider? What sort of game? Or is it a walking simulator? Or what is it? And they just don't seem to be able to, or don't seem to be inclined to tell you. And I can't be bothered. It's like,
is he trying to find a Wi-Fi signal all the time? Because he's got that thing off his backpack that opens up and starts flashing everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, is he looking for a mobile signal or something, or what? Who knows?
I don't know, but and all of that with the footprints in the mud. What was that all about?
Yeah,
no. To be honest, if you can't give us an idea what the game is, because it's a new franchise, it's not like it's Fallout 76, where we know what sort of game it's generally going to be.
But Bethesda, they always say 90% of the time, here's a game, it's out, 4 months or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Not, here's a game, this will be available on the PlayStation 5.
Well, I think it'll be before then, but you know what, it's...
Yeah. I mean, let's wait and see, because I'm sure that when we get round to E3 next year, we'll maybe get more information about Death Stranding, but by the look of it, it's not coming out soon.
Maybe, obviously, we've got Gamescom coming up. Is it October time? Tokyo Game Show, and then is it the Paris one as well? Or is that the same thing? I don't know. It won't be, will it? So there's the Paris Game Show.
Yeah.
It's basically a Sony thing anyway. It doesn't do the Microsoft. But I just think it'd be nice to know by maybe the last conference of this year that they will say when it's coming out.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also got the guy who was, he played Hannibal, didn't he, in a TV series, but he was also the bad guy on Casino Royale.
And in Star Wars Rogue One. He was
And
in that.
he was the Death Star.
Michael Mickelson. I can never say his name correctly, but I do apologise if that's incorrect. But yeah, no, he's a great actor.
Is he Norwegian or something like that? I can't remember what nationality that he actually is, but
anyway, it's neither here nor there at the minute, is it?
No, it's Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other guy's Norman Reedus.
Yeah, of course. Well, you know that. You should know that. You've caned that series really enough.
I have. Apart from the fact that I can't do the latest season because it's not on Sky at the moment. Apart from hiring it.
Oh, okay.
That's really hacked me off, so I'm having to wait for that. But there we go. Anyway, moving on then. So we'll keep an eye out on Death Stranding, but it's going to be a while. Then we had Neo 2.
Yeah.
Some good footage from that. That looks really good. And then they finished off the conference with Spider-Man.
What's your thoughts? Game. Are you interested in this first of all? Before we say much more?
Yes.
Because I feel this is going to have a lot of Batman-style mechanics. And I got on with that.
I don't see what's bad about that at the moment.
No, I mean, obviously we haven't got a car to use, so that's okay. But I think it's going to look pretty stunning as well.
Well, it does look stunning from everything that they've shown. I mean, whether or not that's actually in-game footage or if it's, just trailers that they've made, I don't know. But
the 8-minute trailer, I think it's part of the story because it's you have a few cutscenes and you're fighting away in there with some baddies, but just definitely with the idea of that in the same way when you the Batman style in Arkham.
Yeah.
But yeah, whether or not he'll be annoying Spider-Man because he's always a young kid, isn't he, with his little quips. But that's by the by. But yeah, it looks brilliant.
Well, Tom Holland's Spider-Man isn't annoying, is he?
No, but when you watch it in the game, it seemed a little bit tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, no, but that is how he's supposed to be.
Yeah, but that's if my memory serves now, because I'm only using that for the minute. Destiny's beginning of September, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so September the 7th is PlayStation for Spider-Man as well. So they're quite close together. So, but yeah, can't wait for this game. I'd be interested to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, to be honest. As a matter of fact, I've still got the Spider-Man demo to do on VR.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, move on.
No, I don't want to move on. I'm looking forward to doing that, swinging through the.
But it's only an experience. Though you've forgotten what we said about that in the past. Or have you changed your tune?
No, I haven't. To be honest, I still think that VR is a passing fad for the most part.
Yeah.
I can't really see them immediately bringing out when the PS5 comes out.
Yeah. There's one game we've not talked about that actually back in the day for me I quite enjoyed, and it's probably gone out of my head a little bit, but Ace Combat. Didn't we see anything about that happen at all, or did I miss that?
I never saw anything about Ace Combat at all.
Because that's been on the cards for some time as well.
Well, you would have thought so, because it's been ages since the last Ace Combat game. I mean...
and it's been talked about, because it was talk, obviously, the trailer I'd seen some time ago was also a bit of... for those like yourself that have got the PSVR, you'll be able to use that in some parts as well.
Yeah.
I don't think it's completely, but do you know what I mean? And it looks gorgeous as well, what I saw of it.
Was the last one Ace Combat Assault Horizon?
I don't remember now, but it's just...
Because if that's the case, that was 5 years ago.
Was it that long ago? Ace Combat 7's the next one. And there was a trailer.
I missed it.
Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown. There you go. I'm just putting it on there as we're chatting away. So it's its 20th anniversary.
Wow.
So it's as old as Resident Evil, about the same time.
Mm.
And
but not as much as of a known franchise, though, is it?
I think so, yeah, because I remember playing them on the PlayStation.
I don't know. I think it's a bit more of an obscure franchise. I think everyone knows Resident Evil, but not everyone knows Ace Combat.
Have you got the video up? Because I'm looking at it now. It looks pretty impressive, graphically. Just seeing the way you're going to be flying in the skies. But it's all got Japanese subtitles at the bottom. But when you got the in view there of the the tornado or whatever it is you'll be flying, for example.
Mm.
It looks stunning, absolutely stunning.
It's available for pre-order as well at Argos at the moment.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, $47.99. But yeah, I mean, that'll be an interesting one to see, but I completely missed that, so I don't know what show that was on.
Yeah. Well, again, that's Sony not pulling their finger out right again, is it?
Yeah, but it's on multi-format as well. It's not just a Sony exclusive.
Yeah.
So it's on, Xbox and Windows.
Yeah, so this was this 2 days ago where I got this from, so it's pretty cool. Wow. So there's another game that'd be, well, who knows? Again, I say you would have thought this would have been maybe a PlayStation exclusive, but it's good it's not though.
Yeah. To be honest, I do wonder how much longer we will keep having exclusives in the way that we have in the past.
Yeah.
Just because nowadays games are so expensive to produce, unless they're going to heavily monetize something, then it's in their interest to make it available on as many platforms as possible.
Yeah.
But who knows? Anyway, so quick rundown of some of the other stuff that might have been. I mean, we talked in show 12 about the EA stuff, and there was some good ones, obviously showing about Anthem, which is out in Feb. There's new content for Battlefield 5 as well. It was announced that there is a Star Wars A Jedi Fallen Order coming in 2019. And new content for Star Wars Battlefront, which includes a new mode, a squad system, a new Starfighter mode, new heroes, and more. So I don't think some of that's going to be the Han Solo content and stuff like that as well.
Is it a bit late though, really, with that game the way it went?
I think it is. Who's
going to really want to put that back on? Unless those that are really die-hard fans of it that will be playing it still now anyway. I don't actually own it. I've actually still got my 10 hours to complete, to be honest.
But you won't get the full campaign in that 10 hours. You get the first 2 parts.
I'll wait till it's on EA Access.
What, the whole game?
Yeah.
Already?
No. I will wait until it does come on, I said. It's not on there yet.
Sorry, I thought you said...
No.
I hadn't noticed that come on there. Unravel 2, the game that needed no sequel. Sea of Solitude and mobile game Command & Conquer Rivals. That really confused me because Microsoft released gave a launch for a mobile game.
Well, PC game.
No, there was the Pop game is for on iOS and that.
Is it? Oh, okay. I thought that was just PC because no, Gear Tactics is PC only. Believe it or not.
Yeah, and that to me are doing announcements for mobile games. Really?
Well, Bethesda did it as well. I've already pre-ordered that one.
Fanboy.
It's free though. So
yeah. So let's talk about the Bethesda. We didn't really do all of Bethesda, did we?
I know, but it's going over old ground. Rage 2 came out, didn't it? And we saw some trailers for that earlier. They decided to release that early for us to have a bit of a look into it. But it might be not a bad game.
Yeah. I never really got on with the first one, but...
Well, this looks like Mad Max sort of open world, doesn't it, sort of style?
It does. It does that sort of style of game.
And then another Doom game?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
And then Prey Moon Crash.
Again, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
I haven't played 76.
Sorry.
Yeah, whatever.
Pre-ordered, paid up, ready to go.
Yeah, there's Elder Scrolls Blades. I don't know what that one was.
Yeah, that's the mobile game.
Ah, right, okay, yeah. And then Starfield, which is the one that we were talking about.
Yeah.
But not in the right context.
No, I'm still led to believe that, from what I've heard, that will be in the Fallout universe, but it'll be in space.
Interesting.
And then, obviously, a sneak peek for...
Elder Scrolls 6.
Which probably won't come out, will it? Till the next console, would you think, or before then?
No, it'll come out before. Don't forget that...
So that'll be out before 2020?
Yeah. And then it'll be patched by 2025.
That's if I'm still alive, then.
Yeah, but, mate, it'll be patched by 2025.
Doesn't need to be patched. It'll be on mods anyway.
Yeah, because Bethesda can't
boy, have I got lots to
properly.
talk about Fallout next week. God, I've been enjoying Fallout 4, honestly. I can't say no at the moment, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I've noticed that you've been keen in it, absolutely. Ubisoft, normal sort of stuff from them. Excuse me. There was things like the normal Just Dance and whatever, some expansion for Honor, Starlink, Battle for Atlas. That looks quite good. It's a Star Fox game.
Yeah, that doesn't interest me, to be honest.
No, that's because Nintendo's for kids, in your opinion.
People give me grief over that one. That's just
Yes,
my
that's
opinion.
because Nintendo isn't for kids. It's for everybody.
Well, all games are for, but I think more kids play Nintendo.
Well, no,
than
I don't
adults.
think GTA 5 is for kids, to be quite honest with you. You know, that's at 18, yeah?
Yeah,
You wouldn't give your 6 or 10-year-old blooming GTA.
I know we saw some earlier, but what do you think of the Division 2? Seeing a bit more of that. What do you think of it?
Do you know what? I didn't like the Division. I didn't, in the end, I was so disappointed with it. It wasn't really what I felt it was, being pimped at by Ubisoft to begin with. But I just can't wait for this game. I think I know it's by the look of it, it's more of the same, but for some reason, it's just appealing to me.
What, Division 2, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I need to go back to I have not completed Division 1, as in story content.
Well,
I can't remember where I got to be honest.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
We did. We shot down that helicopter.
I'll have to boot it up and have a look at it. And see where I am.
We did. We completed it, mate.
Are you sure?
Because, yeah, I'm positive, because the last boss battle was that helicopter in that square sort of area where there was construction stuff, and we shot it down.
I will boot it up later. I'll have a look and I'll message you.
And then you had to go about and go and talk to a few people, and if I remember rightly, there was no closing cinematic or any indication that you'd actually completed the game. But that rings a bell.
You saying that that does ring a bell there.
Because I can't. Was it Gavin that we were talking to at the time or something? I can't remember, to be honest, but said, no, that's it. And it was sort of like, really? That's it? So I just couldn't believe it, because it was so poor.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel epic in any way, shape or form.
Yeah. What about looking into the future again, as a lot of these conferences have been with Beyond Good and Evil 2? I mean, what they showed looked pretty cool, but again, it's what's it all about,
Yeah. Well, I think, to be honest, we probably have a bit more of an idea what Beyond Good and Evil 2 is about.
Do you know, it reminded me of Valerian, to be honest, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
But as I say, but it's not. I don't
not
think
as colourful though.
Oh no, but it had that sort of idea in my head about it. But again, it's something else. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, go on. That's all right.
I was just going to say, I don't think that in terms of Ubisoft, anyone can say any other than that the main part of that show was Assassin's Creed Odyssey with the Spartans.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
But it means I've got to go and actually play the last one.
Yeah, I need to finish that as well.
I've nowhere near started that game.
Can't you actually play co-op on that? I can't remember if you can or not. If you can, maybe we should do that.
Yeah, because I'm only about just to go to Alexandria, which is the beginning of the game. The first bit in that first area. You're asked if you want to then go to the next area. That's all I've got up to. So
you literally just got out of the pyramid.
No, you come out of the pyramid and then you do a few quests.
Yeah.
In that area.
Yeah, well, I'd literally just got on to the next to there.
Yeah. So that's really where I've got with it. But to be honest, though, when I saw how they've tweaked it again slightly with a little, well, I'm assuming it's going to be you're going to have choices that might turn you down a different route, hopefully, in that game. I mean, it's great that you can give you the choice to be a man or a woman in that, because people do like to have different ways to play the game.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I can't see why not now. In terms of equality and whatever, they can't make every protagonist.
Well, it's funny.
To be like
it's funny because obviously in Unit, the one set in London, you sort of bounce between one and the other.
Yeah, and that was good.
So you had, I think it was Phoebe, wasn't it? Her name was.
Yeah.
So that was really
cool. But not Phoebe Buffay.
Yeah, but what I really liked about this one was seeing the Spartans. And I was just thinking of the film 300 at the time.
Yeah, I thought about that as well. It looks really good.
And also the way that movie, obviously, when the fight sequences, so even when you could push someone really hard off a mountain or something like that, the way it was just portrayed, it was just brilliant.
Mm.
But that again, that's this year, so there's plenty to play.
Yes, as well as all of the future games that are coming.
And I know Skull and Bones isn't coming for a while yet, but you've got a bit of sea adventure in Odyssey as well, haven't you? So with the boats.
Yeah. Pirate seems to be the thing at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
With Microsoft doing it, and also Bethesda. Was it Bethesda? Or who was it? Who else was doing a pirate one? It wasn't Bethesda, was it?
No.
Someone else was.
Microsoft?
Yeah, no, I thought there was a third one.
No, I don't think there was, but I mean, I've requested that. I've already signed up for that beta a year ago.
Yeah, so did I.
But maybe they held back because with Microsoft doing their pirate game, they thought let's let that die down and then we come in after that. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, and then also there's the Crew 2 as well. I never really got on with the Crew though, so I'm not really that stoked about that game.
I was disappointed come the end of it though, because there was no Sam Fisher.
Yeah, that was our prediction, wasn't it? Because of
I think we weren't the only people that was thinking about this. I mean, a lot of people were hoping to see a new Splinter Cell game. Yeah,
but don't forget, it might be that what's happening is that they're keeping something back for the next big show.
Well, for Gamescom, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Because why blow your load all at once?
Yeah, absolutely.
You might as well hold some back and then, say, well, we said this, but hey, we've also got this.
Yeah.
And that's they've done that before as well, haven't they? Different developers. So I think that we'll be seeing some more games coming as well.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see. So that's kind of, and we'd already mentioned, we talked in depth about Microsoft and their masses of exclusives that are coming, their premieres that they were showing as well. Although, to be fair, Sony did show a few premieres as well. So, I think it's a good time to be a gamer. But in terms of who won the show, who do you think, who's done the best, who's done the worst?
Well, should we start with the worst?
Go on in.
And I think I don't think anyone else would disagree with us that EA were pretty poor.
Yes. Yeah, there wasn't... I would agree. They were pretty poor.
I mean, I like the idea that they had the chat. Andre Rene got to do the hosting for the chat on Anthem, and that was pretty cool. But that was about it for me. There's nothing. I mean, FIFA's FIFA and all the sports games, and Battlefield, whatever. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't enough meat on the bone there.
Yeah.
So the one that had the most meat on the bone. Do you agree that it was Xbox?
Well, why don't you do your rundown from worst to best, and I'll do mine, because I think that we've got different views here.
Okay, well.
So what was your second worst?
Well, I wouldn't say second worst, because there's games from each are pretty cool.
No, but I mean in terms of overall.
Okay.
Just,
well, I'm going to put Sony next.
Right. Okay.
Then I would probably go Ubisoft, Bethesda, and then Microsoft, to be honest.
Okay.
For how they came across. I mean, one side of me says I think that Bethesda are great because they will show you a game and say it's out in a few months. And that is by far the best way to bring out a conference. But for what stick Microsoft have taken over the last year and how they come across with how they brought their show out, telling us that they're bringing more games out. They bought more studios to go. They're looking much more further into the future. Game Pass could be doing really well. They're bringing out more games for that for people.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, this is Microsoft's best conference for such a long time for me. You know.
Okay.
But don't get me wrong. I'm not going to knock Sony, but just for how they presented it and everything else, they had one game there, one big game really that is coming out soon. The rest, whenever. And but I will say that my two top games for this E3 are Resident Evil and Fallout for me, because they're games that are coming out now. Do you know what I mean? Everything else is later.
Okay. Shall I do mine?
Go on then.
I'm going to say I thought that the worst presentation was Sony.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is, I'll give them a hats off for trying to be creative and do something different.
Yeah.
But it didn't work.
I tell you what, if you were actually at E3 and you were at a lot of these conferences, I think those that were there would probably may even put it even near the bottom, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, all right, I don't say that because I still think EA would be at the bottom.
Yeah.
But they may well put that next in line, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it was a difficult toss-up between EA and Sony for who was the worst.
Yeah.
In terms of the presentation, because EA didn't have a lot, and what they did have was lackluster, whereas Sony did have a lot. Well, no, sorry, Sony didn't have a lot, sorry. What Sony had was some really, really strong franchises there that they were showing, and some beautiful looking games, but the way that they delivered it was terrible. I thought that, but they tried something different. It just didn't work for them. And they need to go back and rethink how they deliver it in the future.
I'm sure.
And I think that Sean Layden's comments at the beginning didn't help it in any way, shape or form. I don't think that Sony should be trying to make themselves out as a religion or a cult.
They're too cocksure of themselves, I'm telling you.
To me, yeah, it came across as a bit arrogant. And to me, the whole thing about shifting people along and messing about for 20 minutes in the middle of their presentation was because they didn't actually have that much to show.
Do you think this could shift power a little bit between the two big ones?
I don't think it will. Because Sony have massively outperformed Microsoft this generation, and Microsoft have for years been trying to play catch up. And hands down to Sony, at the moment, certainly, they are winning this generation. Or they've certainly won the first part of this generation. Whether or not they're becoming complacent, I don't know. I hope not, because I like both consoles. I know that I complain about Sony, but I also complain about Microsoft, and I'm not going to be all, rose-tinted glasses about Microsoft in a minute either.
Yeah.
But I do think that it was a particularly bad. It was the worst Sony presentation I've ever seen. I was really quite shocked at what they did. It certainly picked up in the second half. If they'd have not bothered with the first bit, I'd have been happy with that as a presentation. But having that, it didn't work. Didn't work at all. So EA being my next one. And then, I think it's difficult to choose between my next two. And I'm going to say probably Bethesda next.
Not that you're going to play many Bethesda games, are you?
Excuse me. Which one of us has Dishonored 1 and 2 and the third game that they did and played that? Which one of us has Elder Scrolls Tamriel Unlimited Edition with the statue and stuff like that? Which one of us was that? Can you remind me?
Yeah, but you won't play it that much, though.
I have played it, though. I have played it. Okay. And also, didn't I recently complete a Bethesda game, if I remember rightly as well? So come on, you can't say that.
Yeah, but it's just one little franchise you have a bit of an arse with. But anyway, that's by the by. Carry on.
Yeah. So I thought that, even though I'm not a big Fallout fan, I'm intrigued by Fallout 76, the idea of playing in a world where everybody is somebody, as it were, rather than an NPC. Yeah. I really quite fancy the look of Starfield as well. Doom Eternal, yeah, up for that. Like a bit of Doom. Wolfenstein, I'm not so bothered about Wolfenstein, but, you know, it's an enjoyable sort of thing. Prey, after playing it on the console, on the demo and the controls, I'm not bothered about this at all. I might get it on PC at some point so that I can use a mouse.
If it was a $5, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, if it was like the humble bundle for the month,
yeah,
and you know, it was on PC, I would probably get it. Rage 2, not really bothered about it. To me, Rage is a franchise that didn't need a sequel. So I think that there's a lot there. Elder Scrolls, I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest.
I've got something else to talk about mentioning when you finish, actually, as well, because there's something else I haven't mentioned yet, but go on, carry on.
Okay. So moving on to Ubisoft. Really quite... I've never got into Beyond Good and Evil, but quite like the look of Beyond Good and Evil 2.
I do own the first one, actually.
Yeah, so do I, actually, but I've never really played it. I didn't like it. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I am so looking forward to this, I think. And that, to me, it was by far their strongest game there. And to be honest, it was that pushed it above Bethesda, because it was actually a franchise that I'm bothered about. And it looked,
that's right,
it looks amazing.
I mean, you know me, I'm a really got a tough nut there to crack for me, because I love Fallout so much. So again, that's from my point of view. Yeah, I can see your point on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're Mr. Fallout, I'm Mr. Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just the franchises that we like. And the Division 2. Despite everything, I still really want to play that.
I mean, I don't know. I need to play the other one a bit more, take a bit more out of it, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, it's fair enough.
Yeah. And then, obviously, that doesn't leave much more for my number one, which was Microsoft. Now, I'm not going to be fanboy on this, because I think Microsoft played it really, really safe.
Exactly. I totally agree with you, because it's not about being... I mean, they have just done such a good press conference. I call it press conference. They got such a good conference they've done.
Yeah,
they ticked all the boxes,
and that's why I would give them, you know, the high mark, because there was no beating about the bush with it. This time they came along, I think, knowing that everybody was looking at them with the view of, if you cock this up this time, that's it. No one's going to give you another chance. You've had enough chances. And I seriously do think that Microsoft felt that pressure. And they came on 50 games, exclusive, premiere, exclusive. You know, it was just bam, bam, bam. There was no messing about. There was, you know, particularly, I mean, I know that there was a bit of Phil Spencer standing there looking smug. But, you know, let's face it, he's... You know, for whatever, he's got the company to this point now where they can actually come back and say, actually, we've been under a lot of fire. Here we go. We've listened to your concerns. We're in it for the long haul. Yeah. That to me was a good 2 fingers up to anybody who was turning around and saying Microsoft's dead and are going to pull out of this market. They've told you, no, we're not going to pull out of this market. And I think that that's really, you know, really positive. And as a Xbox owner, that gives me a little bit more confidence. But also knowing that there's these 50 games that are coming, what they've done with Game Pass and everything that they delivered there. The simple fact of the matter is that if Sony had delivered it like Microsoft, I still don't think that they would have beaten Microsoft this year. No,
I don't think they would have had that amount of games to actually talk about. I actually show you.
Yeah, because I never thought I would say those words of Sony didn't actually have the games this year. And those words, they just seem so alien.
What was it? 20? I mean, I'm not. I weren't counting. What was it? 20 games, maybe, if you're lucky.
I don't think it was. I think it was in the teens.
Yeah.
And to be honest, some of those had already been announced by Microsoft.
Because there were some third party ones there. Yeah.
Yeah. So But they've got really strong franchises. That's the thing, And to be honest, Microsoft, they're going back to Halo and Gears, which there's not particularly much new in those. But then again, when you look at the last year, God of War, how many versions of that is there? 8?
And how many Mario games do you see, and everything else? Do you know what I mean? They all got their own. They've all got their own franchise. We haven't really mentioned much about Nintendo, but they only did a little video sort of stream of what they were going to be showing. But
yeah, but basically, part of the reason why you buy a console is because you like the exclusive stuff. People buy Nintendo because they like Mario.
Yeah, I think Forza Horizon 4 is going to sell tremendously well.
Yeah,
people more so because it's in the UK as well.
Yeah, exactly. But people buy Microsoft because they like Gears, they like Halo, they like Forza, they like those ones. People buy PlayStation because they like Uncharted, they like God of War, they like Gran Turismo, they like all of those sort of franchises, and there is nothing at all the matter with that.
Yeah.
But to me, it was just Microsoft nailed it. But even though they'd done so much, I still think that, and the presentation hit the buttons, it wasn't as exciting as they could have made it. And so for that reason, I would say they had like an 8.5 out of 10 on an average presentation, when everybody else was sort of like scoring 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do you know what I mean? It was sort of like, so it was unfortunate that Sony's thing didn't come off. It might have come off if you were there, but certainly as a viewer sat at home, it was appalling. So I'd be interested to see actually what people who went to it actually thought of how they delivered it. To be honest, that would be interesting to have a chat with anyone.
It'd be nice to be a fly on the wall, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, if there are any listeners out there who did go and you were in that room and then you had to do all of the shifting and that, let us know. How did it feel? Was it something that was exciting and different, or did you think, oh, for God's sake, or something else? I don't know.
I mean, listen to the podcast from the guys in the States I mentioned last time, and their names. I mean, I should shoot myself now, but listen to their podcast and they were talking about this shuffling around. They weren't happy with that. A lot of people were just uncomfortable with all this getting up and moving around. Yeah, it would be interesting to see what happens with that. Yeah,
so anybody, just email us, podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk and let us know. So it was Microsoft, I think, did the best presentation in a very safe way in a very average E3, to be honest. So, I'm not being fanboyish.
No.
I'm being, honest in terms of my opinion.
That's fine, yeah.
So, I did put out some requests for any questions or whatever.
We've got a few.
I don't know whether or not it must be a quiet time of the year or something.
I think everyone got E3'd out, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's probably is the case. But nevertheless, we have had some feedback, and we've also had some feedback from Twitter, more actually from Twitter than Facebook. For a change, actually.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's funny.
Yeah, so it's sort of like it's a mixture of listener questions and points of view as well. So we won't do the normal jingle, but we'll just go straight into it. So Mark will kick us off as normal. And to be honest, thank you, Mark. Mark sent us these questions in about 3 weeks ago.
At least you've got to give him points for being prepared.
Yeah, so thanks, Mark, for this. So, Steve, what is your best and it's available now surprise?
Well, best, I think, is Cyberpunk 2077. That is something that's a little way off yet, but, oh, God, that is going to be a well to be dived into.
Yeah.
An available now surprise. Well, I already knew about Fallout 76 and knew that was given that they were going to give it this year, just the way Bethesda work. But the big surprise and what I was praying for, well, one of them, because actually the other one we're going to talk about is in part 2 of the 2 questions, but Resident Evil 2, the remake of that, I can't wait for that as well. That's fantastic.
Yeah, well, that surprises. What about your available now?
It is available. Well, there was only one thing that was available now, which was Unravel 2, theoretically. All the others got release dates for but there isn't anything else that's available now, is there, from E3? Do you know what I mean?
There is one thing. There is one thing, and Sony did it.
What was that?
They gave you Black Ops 3.
Yeah, but that's an old game. I didn't count.
Yeah, I know, but that was still, nevertheless, a very nice touch of them, because I didn't have to do it. I mean, if you watched the Xbox conference with Mixer, then you got a pre-order for a game that's not quite released, and that was quite a nice touch. Can't remember what it was called now.
You're about the one that's in the Life is Strange universe?
No, not that one. Not the, Tales of
By the way,
Charisma.
I've actually pre-ordered that already, and it's now saying the whole game's free to me.
Really?
And I own it. So if you go back on there and you have a look at it, you can pre-order it, and then it says it's free and you own it. So you've worked that one out.
I wonder why they've gone down this...
I think it's classed as it's not a big story. It's not very long, so it's like a demo. In fact, in a way, if you know what I mean, they've classed it as they've called it a demo, but it isn't. So it's a bit odd. But more about that in the next week or two when it's released. Yeah,
well, it is in the next couple of weeks as well, isn't it? So, I'm trying to remember what on earth it was what was that? What was the game that Microsoft were giving away? It's annoying me.
I don't know. Didn't even see that. I mean, I've been on Mixer and did me bits and bobs, but
it's in it'll be in your what do you call it list of ready to install games, I think.
Well, let me know because I'll have a look later.
It was out of something. It was one of the Microsoft games that was. I'm going to have to edit this bit, but I'm going to have to find out what it was. Well, there was the Xbox A3 Mixpot that they were doing. I don't know what that one was about, to be quite honest, because I don't think I got anything.
They didn't. Well, unless it's not giving you anything yet.
No, it hasn't, because it comes out as a pre-order.
But like last year, they gave you a few games, didn't they?
Yeah.
They gave you about 3 or 4 games. Just little indie games. But this year, they didn't really do a lot.
Outer Wilds. If you look on your Xbox, you'll have...
Actually, I can't from here. What's it called?
Outer Wilds. All right, so my best was... I already knew it was coming, but I would say Assassin's Creed Odyssey, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Not Cyberpunk then, no? You don't...
No, because you didn't actually see gameplay footage.
Yeah, but we were still hanging on a thread for that.
Yeah, but it looks fantastic. But
yeah,
I'm not as invested in the Blade Runner-y kind of, dystopian future that you are.
True.
And then best surprise. I think I'm probably actually going to give this one to Sony. To be honest, I would say that the best. Also, no, because.
What's he asking? Evil, then?
And it's available now. Surprise! I would say the Black Ops sort of thing because I'm not a big fan of Ravel.
So,
yeah. So you do his second question.
So, a game that you were hoping for but never got mentioned. Oh boy, can I have a moan at Square Enix for this one? Where the freaking heck is Final Fantasy VII Remake?
Yeah.
Please tell me, because it's been mentioned quite a while ago and we still haven't heard anything. Just fed up with that. That was my only disappointment.
Mm.
But Resident Evil, they took that disappointment away, to be honest. But yeah, because Square Enix's their little show was pretty, as we know, really worth talking about, wasn't it?
No. It was over.
Do you agree with me, or have you got anything else you'd like to think about?
No, I would say Sam Fisher. Where's Splinter Cell?
Yeah, no, that's fine because you're not really much of a Final Fantasy fan anyway, are you? To be honest,
I used to be, but I think that Final Fantasy 12 killed me off.
Oh, okay.
To be honest. So, moving on to Justin Lee, in that case. For all the talk and fuss about around games, part exclusives, and whether Xbox or PlayStation has the most exclusive, does it really matter that much? There are just so many games launched over the year and shown at E3. There are far more great games that you can play, or you can never play. Let's be honest, very few people have the time or the inclination to play games all at the same time. So why do people get their knickers in a twist about it?
Well, it's what I said earlier. There's plenty to play now. I think it's this fanboy thing, isn't it? To be honest, sometimes.
Yeah.
They like to have a moan that XYZ haven't got this or XYZ haven't got that. And the other one's got more there now, and this haven't,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say either or and whatever, but you got me meaning of that.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I sort of picked up on this. There was a discussion was it last week or the week before on the Facebook group, just before E3 actually, and it was the same thing about, Xbox has no games, and I just said, this is just such a tired rhetoric now. There are loads of games on Xbox. Said just because there aren't exclusives doesn't mean that there's not a game. No games. I mean, I was quite rightly called out in the fact that some people say, well, not all of us can afford two consoles, so that they get the best of both worlds, which is true. But to be honest, most of the time I would still play stuff on the Xbox anyway, because it's the X now. But
yeah.
And I prefer the controller on there most of all. But to be honest, you don't have to have an exclusive to make a game a good game to play. It doesn't suddenly magically become a better game because it's exclusive to that platform. And there are loads of multi-platform games that are absolutely brilliant. And, I can understand, people who only have one console looking and seeing things like God of War and stuff like that appearing, and then up until now, very little coming from Microsoft. But, now we do know that lots are coming, so, it's not so much of an issue anymore. And to me, there are loads of games out there, and a lot of the multi-platform games are actually better than some of the exclusives anyway. So I don't know, just sick of people going on about it. And a matter of fact, I actually said, rather than actually coming into groups and complaining about it, start a campaign, start messaging Phil Spencer directly and saying, where are the exclusives? You've bought this. Well,
I think the message is clear from their presentation, to be honest.
Well, I think it is now. But like I said, this was going before E3, so we didn't have that knowledge. But hopefully that conversation will stop now, and it is about time it stopped, to be honest, because all it does is it just upsets people who only have one console. Because if it's in a closed Facebook group, Microsoft aren't going to see it. Anyway.
No, but anyway.
Do you want to do Richard?
Yeah, so Richard Birch, interesting to hear which presentations you liked. There are some very different styles and approaches this year. Also, in this year, that Game Pass on Xbox becomes a total no-brainer to have. We are engaging closer to the Netflix model now. Thoughts on that? To be honest, I totally agree with them. I think, again, obviously there's a flip to the coin on this because Sony don't have anything like this yet. So they're going to say, well, it's no good anyway. But to be honest, though, I think with the exclusives that are coming out on day one on there, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
we do. You don't have to buy Crackdown. You don't have to buy Forza.
Well,
you can get your money's worth in a couple of months on those and just spend 14 quid.
Yeah, and to be honest, you can get to a Games Pass, for free for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Even if there's only one game that you want to play on there, you can just get it for that time and then cancel the pass. But the other thing as well, and I messaged you about this, I don't know if you've actually done it yet.
I need to. Oh, it was asking me. I need to get me because it wanted me to get my card out to verify who it was for some unknown reason.
God, yeah, it did that with me as well. It's a real pain, but it puts it directly into your account. I think that's why. But Amazon at the moment are advertising 6 months Game Pass for $23.99 instead of $46.
So we're in what, June?
Yeah.
So that's July, August, September, October, November, December.
Yeah.
And that will give you at least 2 Microsoft exclusives.
Yeah.
Plenty of time.
Not counting the other 98 games plus that are in there.
Well, I mean, come on, guys. I mean, I'll be chatting about Fallout 4 next week. That's on there now. And if you've ever thought, well, why don't I give that a go? Because I don't like that. But I've got a great way to play that game. And we'll talk about that next week. But there's plenty there to play.
Is that loading up Burnout Paradise and playing that instead?
No. Anyway, You jest, but
I know I do. I love winding you up about Fallout 4 because you always get so annoyed about it.
No, I'm so passionate though.
I know.
I just love it to bits. But anyway, there's so many games there. What is there not to like?
Yeah, exactly. So the next one, we're going over to Twitter now. So it's Tyrannis. It says a lot of games shown, very enjoyable highlights from software, new games. Fallout looking like actually RPG. Division 2, Cyberpunk, which looks good. GTA meets Blade Runner sort of view on that, and Dying Light 2. So
Yeah,
they're
where did
all
that
of his
one come
highlights.
from?
I know that came from nowhere.
Absolutely, and I'll be on all over that at some point. I don't think it actually got a release date, did it?
No, I don't think so.
No, but the first game is brilliant, and is it Tech Noir, the people that made that game?
Yeah.
I mean, they gave you some extra bits and pieces again with that game on the last one. There was obviously a pack to get that up to 4K, and they did a bit of DLC and they supported that game for about 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's even worth picking up now, to be honest. If you've never been down that route.
I keep looking and thinking, should I put it in?
I finished it. Great game.
Yeah, I know you did, because we were playing it to begin with, and then I just sort of like lost interest in it a little bit.
Yeah, you did, but I got used to the parkour idea and how that played. It didn't make me feel sick at all.
Mm.
And it was a great zombie game, if anything. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Do you want to do Mark's one?
Okay, so of all the games you've seen at E3, which one are you most looking forward to?
Assassin's Creed.
There's so many, but I'll probably say
Fallout.
Ones that are not coming, which would be Cyberpunk, I think, because that's way off. But because obviously the other ones I'm looking forward to, some of them are coming out next year. So, but yeah, I think the anticipation for that will be amazing.
Fallout 4.
No, Cyberpunk.
All right, okay. What about Destiny 2 DLC or expansion?
That's given. That's just in there. That's in the bag, done and dusted, ready to go. You know, it's.
Yeah, I know that, but considering the amount of time that you spend on that game.
Well, I'm spending it now. I've been spending a couple of good weeks on Destiny 2 on the Xbox, so I'm ramping those hours back up.
Yeah.
But to be honest, we can probably talk about it next week because there's a lot more involved with that Forsaken than just meets the eye at the minute. Mm. And there's Bungie have had members of the community over at their workshops asking what they'd like to see and how things want to go, and they're delivering. This game will be come September when that patch comes out. It will be as good as Destiny 1 was.
At what point though? Because Destiny 1 had its roller coaster.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, the way that when Destiny got to the game that everyone enjoyed, it will be the same for Destiny 2.
Yeah, I think it will.
Because of what they're actually putting back in there and what they're giving you as well. But anyway, that's part of it.
So I'll move on to Gavin. Actually, I never actually. Oh yeah, I did answer mine, didn't I? So Gavin has asked, do you think Microsoft should have promoted No Man's Sky? It's a completely different game now, and I feel that they had the chance to really push it.
That's a difficult one because would you think that would be a kick in the teeth to Sony to do that, being that was an exclusive and now it's not?
It's a good question. It is a good question, to be honest.
Again, this was a a game that came out of the blocks very poor. Mm. But apparently, by the time we get it on the Xbox, it's going to be a different game altogether, isn't it?
Well, it is a different game now, to be honest, because you've got base building and all sorts.
Mm. I'm curious to see because that's not far off either, is it?
No. I have a feeling you're going to get this on the Xbox.
Don't know. We'll see. I think it's coming before the end of the summer, isn't it?
Yeah, I just have a feeling that you will. I think it'll be on your hit list.
Space shooters and exploration. I do love that.
Yeah. No, I think that they've made the right decision not to push it, to be honest, because I think a lot of people do have bad feeling about that game, even though it is a different game to what it was. And I never had a problem with the game that it was anyway. I played it, I finished it, and I have no real interest anymore in investing time collecting
24th of July, by the way.
Yeah, collecting pieces of helium and stuff like that anymore.
Well, I did all that in Destiny. Sort of idea, do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, but in this game, you have to do it in order to survive on the planet. I think I got the bum end rap as well, because where you ended up starting from was, wherever, and it could be random. So you could have a nice, tranquil, peaceful planet, or you could have a high security one that was like a biohazard zone.
Yeah.
And I ended up being on the high security one that was a biohazard zone, and I was getting shot at every 10 seconds, and my health was draining ridiculously fast, as quick as I could collect the resources to keep it up and going. So if you get it on Xbox or if PC or PlayStation and you play it, my advice is if you start off on a planet like that, cancel the game and start a brand new fresh game, because it made the beginning of that game for me a living hell. It really did. And it seemed like every planet I went to was all like really...
Well, don't put me off just yet.
No, but that's the thing, is because there is 14 quintillion planets to go to, there's loads of possibility, even though that every planet looks more or less the same, apart from slightly different colouring. So...
Okay.
Do we do Daz?
Yeah, so the last one here. So Daz says, do you think games are getting more violent? Is it a tactic to sell games for shock value?
I don't think the games are getting more violent. I think that games are able to more graphically depict violence in a more realistic sense, rather than being more violent. Because if you took out the graphics element of it, you could go back to the Commodore 64 with Rambo, where you just shot everybody who moved.
Yeah, it's funny you said it, because I was chatting about this today to my daughter's boyfriend. Because when you boot, funnily enough, when you boot up this Call of Duty, it's Black Ops 3, isn't it? And it says there, do you want to have the graphical, not gameplay was the word they used, but do you want the toned down violence or not? So I don't know where this is going for the game. I've not played it before, so I just said, yeah, of course I want to enable it. I'm an adult. I'm over 18. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then I said, well, we was chatting around. I was saying, well, do you remember how we depicted the airport scene in one of the older Call of Duties when they were going through there shooting everybody? Yeah. And that got a bit of a headline going. But TV today, I think we get a lot of TV that is more dark and real, got this realism in it. And it's obviously that's the only way that games are going to go the same way, because we're showing more realistic scenarios as games get graphically better as well. Well, they probably come hand in hand, I think.
To be honest, I think that all of pop culture's really doing that, because if you look at Star Trek, the original series, if it was any more camp in bits, there would be tents and caravans on it, because it is camp. No, there's no two ways about it. But when you look at Discovery, completely different beast, even though it's supposed to be the same.
Yeah, but for its time, though, Star Trek did the first interracial kiss, for example.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it did a lot of cutting-edge stuff.
Now, we're not whether that's a shock value or not, but there's breaking ground that we keep getting throughout the years. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And when you get in TV shows like Dexter, for example, and then you see things, then you see other things that have been, I mean, even my missus will sit there and watch and say, "Have we just seen this on the TV?" Do you know what I mean? And I think we're desensitized from news these days as well.
Yeah, I do. I think, and also don't forget as well, we're older as well. That's
because I think if you're a family man, you might feel that Last of Us 2 gameplay might be a bit much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, as a kid, I used to love Tom and Jerry. And then,
but then again, in their own way, that is as violence can go.
Exactly. Well, to be honest, when my son was, like 3 or 4, I thought I'd put him on Tom and Jerry because kids love Tom and Jerry. And he absolutely loved it. And I was watching it and I was going, oh my God, that is so violent.
But kids do depict what they watch on TV. So getting a club hammer and beating someone around the head with it until their eyes pop out. do you know what I mean?
It's not a good thing. But I think it's all got to be taken into context a little bit as well. And, you know...
I know you're not a bit of a horror fan these days, but the way that the horror genre has gone from being, not say shock, but being an 18 certificate movie like The Exorcist, and as much as that is old and it is still a fantastic movie for how it comes across, there are, graphically, you're going to have something like Saw, that was probably on the tinge of 18, but now there's stuff that is 15 that it could be worse. Do you know what I mean? It's bizarre, to be honest.
Yeah. And
when someone says to me, "Oh, we're going to watch a movie," what is it? It's a 15, but that's or 12. Well, isn't that a kids' film? 15. Some of them aren't. Some of them are a bit more scary than some 18s of old.
Well, I mean, let's face it. Nowadays, most films are 12, and why are they 12? Because your kids can go and the adults can go.
And also, you're making more money because of if it's an 18 certificate.
You're immediately reducing, the potential of 15, 20 million people who might go and see it.
Exactly.
So
it's all down to companies and the way they sell things.
It is. So are we saying that no in that...
I don't. I mean, from when I said, I was on about the kiss between the two girls in Last of Us 2. Would you class it as maybe a bit of a shock tactic, or are we now talking again this idea of women power maybe being pushed into the game?
I think it might be a lot of things. I think it might be a bit of women power.
But whatever we say, we could be getting wrong, or we could be upsetting someone. But I'm not going to. I'm just saying it in general. You know.
No, yeah, and we're not meaning it as any insulting sort of one way or the other. But I think it could be part of it about women power, part of it as a thing of how, we've moved on as a society so that things like, women being homosexual or men being homosexual is not something to be ashamed of and all of those sort of things. And I think, it plays on, I think a lot of advertising generally either plays to or plays on stereotypes. It's like when you look at every advert that you ever watch, the father is always a complete tool, isn't he? He's always a complete, like he's got 3 brain cells and an IQ smaller than
But why is that? Why is that, though?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Because certainly as fathers go, I'm certainly not that. And some people, it's funny because even with my kids and, the kids, when they were just at school and that, and they say, well, what's your dad do? They just had a chat and they say, oh, he plays games, Xbox. Really? Wow, my dad wouldn't do that.
Yeah. It's a funny thing, actually, because it depends upon the generation. Because if you're talking to like someone from a younger generation, or you're talking to them, so what they look at you, you're just an old bloke, and then you start saying, well, we do a podcast, play a video game. But, suddenly, but just funny, you're fantastic.
But just funny, do you get that feeling that when you go into maybe game, for example, I'm just using this as a pure example, and you're in there and you're looking at a game and they don't think it's for you.
No, exactly. I'll tell you what was so funny. I took my son to Belong, which is at the back of game.
That's right. Yeah, you did for his birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah, for his gaming party. Absolutely fantastic. And I was talking to some of the staff there, and one of them was saying stuff to me, and I could tell when he started the conversation, he was explaining stuff to me as, you probably don't know anything about video games.
He put you in that box straight away, didn't he?
He did. Straight away, I was put in that box. And it was sort of like...
Did you come back fighting?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I had to. I had to defend my honour, as it were. But it was on about something, and I can't.
Do you know a good way of doing it, of being rhetorical and against them and that?
Yeah.
I sometimes say, I said, like, here's my gaming score. Now it's high anyway, but not high as yours maybe. But you can say, look, this is my game. I shut them right up.
Yeah. Well, I went to a wedding a few years back, and my wife's half cousin was there, and he was like a lad who was like 16, 17 at the time.
Yeah.
And said, "Oh, Phil, you want to have a word with Haydn because he plays video games." He looked at me up and down. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, you'll have to give me your what you're on Xbox. So I'm on Xbox. So what's your what's your gamer tag? So he gave me his gamer tag, and it was
blah blah 69.
No, it was one of those ones that was done to intimidate you, in terms of the way that the name was.
I kill your mother or something.
Yeah, I'm not going to say what it was because I don't want to embarrass him, but it was something like that.
Yeah.
And he turned around and he said, so what's your gamer score? Oh no, I asked him what his gamer score was, and it's really cocky. He's like 40, 50,000, whatever it was. He said, "What's yours?" 150,000.
Oh, he doesn't know. He doesn't know that someone is a bit of a whore there, does he?
And do you know what? It's funny, but his attitude towards us completely changed at that point, and I just found it quite amusing, to be honest. I mean, it's like I booked tickets yesterday to go to Insomnia 63 in August. And we're actually taking my son's babysitter with us. She's 16. And I don't know, she always has a really good conversation with us about video games because she knows that I'm really into it. But then again, to be fair, her mother's quite upbeat on it as well, and quite aware and stuff like that. So it's actually
what
quite
did Jane
nice.
think of that?
Jane, it's sort of like, I don't know. Jane finds it, I think, really hard because she just sort of like, all that she hears is white noise and the occasional words like Xbox, game. That's all that she hears. She doesn't understand any of the the cackling sound, and she just doesn't get it. It's like sometimes I'll tell her about stuff, and I'm sort of like, I could sell double glazing to her eyes, to be honest.
Anyway,
but your wife's the same, isn't she?
Oh yeah, she's not interested, but yeah, she. I was sitting there playing this afternoon. I've just been out. I did all the grass this morning.
Yeah.
Before it rained. I did about 8 bags of grass, big bags,
Mm-hmm.
So then I just sat down for a couple of hours and played Fallout. There you go, easy.
Right, so that's it.
Should we wrap this up then?
We'll wrap this up. So, that's it. So, a bit of a longer, just gaming-focused sort of one for today. But nevertheless, that's sort of like the end of the E3. So we will be back to normal, scheduled shows from next week.
If we can call it, normal. We're resuming.
Yes, yeah. Our normal full shows will be resuming next week. So, Steve, do you want to give your contact details?
Yeah, sure. So Twitter @Steve007, PSN the real Steve007, and Xbox Steve007. Email Steve007 @popculturegamers.co.uk.
And my details are, my YouTube account is Haydn Reese Jones. My Twitter is @HRJUK. My PSN, Xbox Live, Steam is HRJUK. And my email is hrjuk@popculturegamers.co.uk. We also have general inquiries. If you have any questions about the show, just email podcast @popculturegamers.co.uk, and our website, which is no www but popculturegamers.podbean.com. And that's it for another show. So we will see you next week, and it's good night from me.
And good night from him.
Good night.
Good night.
You are about to witness history in the making.